Hi everyone and welcome back to the channel. As you know, I'm a great proponent of using ChatGPT to help you with your genealogical research, and I use it all the time, multiple times a day. But to get the most benefit, you need to be aware of its strengths and weaknesses. And believe me, there are a lot of weaknesses. So in this video, I'll show you some of the good, the bad, and the really ugly of using ChatGPT, using examples from World War I research that I've just been doing. Now at the end of the video, I'll summarize all of the things you need to be looking out for when using ChatGPT, so hang around for that. Anyway, without any further delay, let's go over to ChatGPT and see what we're dealing with. So here we are at the ChatGPT screen, and my screen may look a little different to yours. I've downloaded some extensions. I'll put in the comments below, I'll write what those extensions are, but I've got a PDF extension here that I use to save PDFs. And I've got a file management program because I have so many chats here, it takes a while to keep track of them. So I'll put those in the comments below, but essentially it's the same ChatGPT we all use. I wanted to look at a few in fact, chats that I've had about World War I research to show you how ChatGPT can be good, it can be bad, and it can be really ugly. So let's look at the first one, which is a photograph I've downloaded, and this is a photograph of some of my great uncles that fought during the First World War. As you can see, two of them in uniform and two of them in civilian dress. On my website, I actually date this photograph in some detail and show you exactly what week this was taken at, because I can tell by the uniforms and who people wear how to date this. But I can ask ChatGPT to date this photograph, and it does a fairly good job, fairly generic job. It takes 1919 from the file name, but it looks at the naval uniforms, the civilian dress. So it says World War I ended in 1918, and it says these men were probably discharged around those days, which is pretty good, pretty generic. Using traditional dating methods, I probably could do a lot better job, but it would take me a lot longer. So this is a really quick way of doing it. It's one of the good parts of ChatGPT. And then I say, now it's a conversation. I can have a conversation. This is why it's important to save them, so I can come back to this conversation when I need to. Can you tell me which navy they were in? And it goes through the collars, the chevrons, and the cap badges. Not quite sure you can see cap badges very well here, but anyway, it says the Royal Navy more or less, which is fair. And then one of the things that ChatGPT is really good at is putting together plans and research plans, and this is what I use it all the time, is to help me put together a research plan for investigating relatives who served in the Royal Navy during World War I. And then it goes into this kind of detail. Step 1, step 2, use free online resources, step 3, contextualize the service, and so on. I won't go through all this in detail. And then I can say, please write this to a text file, and it's being saved as a text file. And then I can download that, and I can work on that in any which way I wish to do. So that shows you the power of ChatGPT to give you some very quick dating. Obviously it doesn't beat the manual dating at the moment. I mean, there's a long way to go on ChatGPT. So let's look at some other examples. This is one which is the ugly side of ChatGPT. So let me go up to this, and I now downloaded the picture again, and I've downloaded this document, which is a service record for George Dixon. It's pretty badly written, but anybody could probably go through this and interpret this and transcribe it. It's not very, very difficult. So what I've asked it to do is this photograph, which is the people, taken in early 1919. George Dixon is second from the left, served in the Royal Navy, attached to his service record, please transcribe the service record. Now, one thing I always do is say transcribe only the legible entries. There's some things that are not legible there, like this and some of the others, but it's mostly legible. And can you discover anything interesting in George's uniform in the picture that would correspond to the service record? So I've asked ChatGPT to look at the service record, to look at a picture and see if we can correspond it. Now, as it goes through the transcription, some of the details are correct, but some of this here, if we look at the ships, you see Bristol, Revenge, Furious, are completely made up. There's Bristol there, but there's no Revenge, there's no Furious, and So it's actually making things up despite me asking it not to try and give me any information that wasn't there. So it's made some things up and it's made the dates up. So this is where it can be ugly using ChatGPT. It can hallucinate. So it's got some character and ability rating. So if I didn't go back and double check this, what Ben my Cherie is, I've got no idea. And I've transcribed this document twice with very similar results. Remarks, height 5'5", red hair, grey eyes, fresh complexion. Let's go back to that. It's here, 5'5", definitely brown hair, grey eyes, and fresh complexion. So again, it's made up this red hair thing for some reason. Got no idea. And then the analysis of the uniform is pretty good. So I said, can you tell me more about the ships he sailed on and if they saw conflict? So can it mix some of this up? You know, he's now giving details of ships that he didn't sail on. There's no HMS Ben my Cherie and the date he was on. So this is a complete fabrication. So this is the ugly side of ChatGPT. It will make up things and you've got to be very, very careful. And because it couldn't transcribe this document very well for whatever reason, because of the cursive language more than anything else, it's made up some entries and the entries were completely fabricated. So ChatGPT will do this in a number of areas and it's something you've got to be very careful of. So let's look at some examples that are not so onerous as that one. What I've asked it to do here is I took two of the ships he actually did sail on. My great uncle was in the Royal Navy. He was on HMS Bristol and HMS Royal Sovereign, which ChatGPT missed in the photograph, and give me some information. Now it gives me some good information. I double checked this, it's pretty good, but I could have Googled this and got more information from a straight Google of Wikipedia. I did ask for references here. Please provide references for your information. And it did provide the references, which is good. I can double check this. So this is okay part of ChatGPT. Again, it was super fast, right? It takes seconds. So I can get a good view, but I would have got more information for Google to Wikipedia. So again, very helpful, very quick. Another side of this, and this is one I would like everybody to use. This is a generic asking for information on how to do research, and this is pretty good. I have a male relative born in Philadelphia in 1890. I cannot find his service record on Family Search. Help me put together a research plan to ascertain if he served in the military during World War One. Relatives say that he served, but I have not the family records to prove that. So this is a very common statement, and the more information I can give to ChatGPT, the better. And it goes through again a plan, start with US draft registration cards, and explains this. So we can see this really is where ChatGPT has its strength. So I can go back to number one. I say please expand on number one here, because again this is a conversation on item one. And now it will give me more information. So I've gone to the strategy plan and now it's given me more information. If we remember, number one was start with World War One draft registration cards. I've asked for more information and it's given me a better breakdown what information is there. So this is where you have the power of ChatGPT, and you can see it's going through all this information as a strategy and a planning tool. It would take me a long time to find this. I can again download this to a Word document or to any kind of text file, and I can use this. I can correct it. I can go through it. The amount of time it would normally take you to put together this, and you can see it's still typing away, and I'll just add for all this, right? So this is one of the strengths of ChatGPT, and we'll stop that one here, and we'll go to the last one, which again is a very similar one. Again, this picture for the sailor second to the left, what does the propeller mean on his sleeve? And again, asking a question, I could have Googled this, but very, very typically this is something I can use ChatGPT for. So you can see on these very quick examples some ways of using ChatGPT to its strengths and some of the weaknesses that ChatGPT has. So let's kind of go through. I didn't have time to look at all of the different good, bad and the ugly. So let's go and look at where you can get the strengths of ChatGPT and where you really need to use caution. So we saw some examples there of the good, the bad and the ugly. Let me go through that list in a little bit more detail to show you what you can be using ChatGPT for as part of your genealogical research and where you should be more cautious. So let's look at the good first of all. It can really help you with historical context. Rather than Googling and doing your research yourself, you can ask ChatGPT to do the historical context search for you while you're looking at your ancestors. And it's normally pretty good at this because the information is readily available in terms of historical context. And when we're looking at ChatGPT and when we're thinking about it, is if the information is readily available, it's easy to get at. Normally ChatGPT does a good job. As we saw in some of the examples, it's very good at putting together a research strategy and guidance. You can create a plan, you can break the plan down, you can write the plan to a document, and you can start using that plan. So planning, strategy and guidance, very, very good. Now it can do translations. So if I do transcribe a very well written document, I can change it into any language. So it's one of its strengths. It's a language-based system. So we can change it into multiple languages and it will give you the information you need. Reading a foreign document that's in cursive, it may not give you the full results, but if it's typed up, it's very, very good. It can help you organize data. So we didn't show this. I've shown it in another video. I could download all my ancestors from, if you like, Ancestry, and I can sort them in particular order. I can ask ChatGPT to find the ones that are alive during the Second World War, those kind of things. So it's very good at data organizations. It can write to and from spreadsheets and a number of different formats. And then finally, what most people use ChatGPT for is writing, editing, and creating tone and style. So a lot of people, if you're writing a narrative or you're writing a PowerPoint like I am, it can put together your script or help you put together a script. You never start from scratch, but the language skills that ChatGPT have is something that is key to its use. So writing, editing, tone and style, I would say 80% of people who use ChatGPT use it for that. So then these are the good points. This is why you should be using ChatGPT. Let's look at the bad points. It's got no access to databases. So when you're doing research, ancestry, family search, MyHeritage, you're going to have to do that your way yourself or download that information to access from ChatGPT. So no direct access to databases at all. As we saw from an example, it can be pretty inconsistent when it's reading documents and it will make things up sometimes. So you have to do really own interpretation, and it's central to a genealogical work that you examine the sources yourself. You wouldn't trust another person to transcribe a source, so you wouldn't trust ChatGPT to do that. It's got limited specialized expertise. ChatGPT is a generalist program. So niche records, regional genealogies, that kind of thing, it probably doesn't have the information that you'd look for. Now you can provide it the information and ask it to interpret the information for you, but it has limit. It's not a specialized system by any means. Now, as I said in the examples, sometimes a Google search is better. When I was looking for the information on the ships during World War I, if you like, ChatGPT gave me some okay stuff, but if I went on to Google or Bing and looked at Wikipedia, I would have been able to get more information. So is this a conversation or is this a search? If it's a search, maybe still, and ChatGPT is getting better, but if it's a search, still Google and Bing are probably better. And it is limited to its knowledge sometimes. So ChatGPT was obviously taught a bunch of information. That information has got a timeline. Some of the newer information may not be available to it. So newer stuff or new access or things that have just recently been made available on the internet, ChatGPT may not even know about that. So it can't, an unpublished works, it can't find either. So all these things we need to be careful of. Sometimes you can ask it to do these things but it won't give you always the results. You need to be cautious about the way you use it. And then let's look at the ugly part of ChatGPT. As part of a genealogist or any kind of researcher, you've got to verify your sources. How good is the source? Let's connect sources to each other. ChatGPT doesn't verify sources. It uses sources at random. So you can't know how good the source is that is used to provide the information. And even when you've asked it to provide the sources, it sometimes doesn't give you the correct citations. As I said earlier, some of the information is outdated. So it may be like going to a library that has not had any new books for 10 years. The information you're getting about relatives or research may be dated. So again, we're still looking at a generic system rather than a specialist system. And that comes to whether the information is reliable. Sometimes the information is not reliable. So if it's gone to a source that ChatGPT doesn't know whether these sources are good or bad, it'll just use it as a source. So that source may be an unreliable source. It may be a book that somebody's written that is totally incorrect. We know in family history, if we're going to look at somebody else's tree, it may look great, but it may be completely unreliable. So that we wouldn't again use ChatGPT as a source. We'd actually go beyond ChatGPT in this case. As we saw from the transcription, when it didn't have the correct information, it just made up stuff. So it was complete fiction that it made up. So it's important you need to be aware of that, and you need to be aware of what you're working with. So we go back to the good and we stay away from the ugly. And sometimes it's better just to do your own research than try to let ChatGPT do it for you, because you're going to have to double check its work. It's like getting an assistant. You have to understand what your assistant is good at, what that person is not good at. And if you're going to have to double check their work, it's maybe easier for you to do the work yourself. And then the other thing that we need to be aware of is that every answer is different. So in ChatGPT, if I ask her the same question multiple times, I will get slightly different answers. And that's because it creates the answers from scratch each time. It has no real memory of its last answer. So that's a problem for genealogists. If I'm asking it to do something and somebody else is trying to reproduce what I did, their answer is going to be slightly different. So that could be the ugly part of it. Now, I don't want you to leave with the thought that ChatGPT is so bad you shouldn't use it. It's like any tool. It's like using Ancestry or using the library or the archives. You've got to know how best to use it. And that is a crucial tool in your tool belt to use ChatGPT to help you research. So I hope you've enjoyed this video. I hope it doesn't put you off using ChatGPT, but it's important as a researcher to really understand what the tools are in your tool belt, if you like, and how best to use them. Now, I hope you found this video helpful. If you have, please give it a quick like and subscribe. It really helps a small YouTube channel like mine. And good luck with your research. I'd love to hear your comments about ChatGPT, and stay tuned for the next video that will be out shortly. Thank you for watching.